Is the deep state trying to create a new Christian nation by carving pieces from Bangladesh, India, and Myanmar? Well, this was the suspicion raised by Sheikh Hasina a few months ago, and we've got all the references for you to take a look at as to in what context she said that. But we also have a slide deck that we're going to share with you and walk you through this concept, why this is happening. And where did all this begin? Well, it began as early as in this 1800s when the British were allowing Christianization of the Northeast, which was mostly tribal in nature. You had a few pockets like the kingdom of Tripura, kingdom of Manipur, and so on, which tended to be more connected to Sanatana Dharma. But there are others which were mostly tribal, and there was free traffic back and forth, and the British took advantage of it. They would whip India any which way they wanted as long as they could stay in power. You have to keep this in mind. Anytime there is a divisive feeling between two communities in India, you need to go back and understand, how did this all happen? Where did this all start? But that would mean that people would have to have a reasonable bent of mind, and that people would be amenable to reading history. Reading is the underlying thing. We have gotten so far away from reading that we don't have the patience to understand how a certain idea was developed. You can't read this in 240 characters and come to a conclusion, this was a person who did it, right? So that's why deep state, the woke state, the marketing today community don't want you to read too much. They want you to just take this thing, get that instant hit, and then let you go. As long as they have gotten 1 out of 100, they count that as a success and move on. This is what is happening. Anyway, I'm just going to share a slide deck with you and show you the developments that are happening, how this is being formed, who's funding it, who stands to benefit, and what are the consequences of this. And please like this video so that most people will get a chance to watch this if it goes viral. Thank you. CIA deep state allegedly plotting to create new country from Manipur and parts of Mizoram. This is just the India portion, but there is a bigger picture here. Allegations have emerged regarding the involvement of the Central Intelligence Agency and deep state actors in drug trafficking activities, which reportedly aim at trying to carve out a nation. This was the one that Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina had said, because she said that there was an alleged plot to create a Christian nation, just like East Timor was carved out of Indonesia. You have to go back. That's why I say that, if you don't read history, it will repeat itself right in your backyard. Hasina claimed that external forces were attempting to carve out this new nation, citing an incident where a white man proposed this idea to her. You guys, when the elections played out in Myanmar, the ambassador of United States to Bangladesh was so much, visible that they were making fun of him or her. I don't remember it was what the gender of the ambassador was. I mean, they don't even care that they have been exposed. And you see what 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘆, the ambassador of United States to India, is doing. Can you imagine an Indian ambassador to the United States going and meeting with executives of Hollywood, especially those who have some extreme ideas, and getting them, taking pictures with them, dining and wining with them? That's the point. India has a very stated external affairs policies, and their ambassadors don't involve themselves in the local politics. But then try telling that to 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘆. He thinks being mayor of LA for 2 terms is not enough. He has bigger plans. Clearly, maybe he'll just become, once he decides that this is where he's going to go, who knows, Senate of California, or senator from California, or mayor of a different city. Who knows? These people have unbounded ambitions and they don't know anything else. They can't go back and, even practice law if that's what is their original profession. Anyway, I'm just telling you overall general. I don't know 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘆, so I don't know what he was in his previous profession, but he seems to want to at least play these things, test the waters, so to say, tell India that, oh, if you want help in Manipur, we are standing by. It may appear that it's aimed only at one country, but it is not. I know where else they intend to go, she said. So there was a plan that was unveiled to her. Sometimes this is again testing the waters. Let's see what happens if we say that to Bangladesh Prime Minister or what she does. Anyway, she still has a lot of things to do, especially ensuring the security of the minorities in Bangladesh, which I see as unfinished business. Remember, Sheikh Hasina's father was Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and he was a prime disciple of Surawardi, who was the architect of Direct Action Day. I hold no promise. I have no hope that Sheikh Hasina is going to be, secular. She's not. Anyway, that's just my opinion. It's also being said, US support for ethnic tribals of Myanmar could have security implications for India too. Yeah, they are nomadic in their terms. So they can easily be driven from one place to another, sometimes probably even with cash. Who knows? Indian currency has been used, in big way to try and weaken India. I don't know if you remember that one episode that I had shared with you about how Mizoram's capital, Aizawl, was one of the places where Flipkart was selling. Flipkart sales, e-commerce site, its sales was 99% or 95% cell phones. That was it. Flipkart site was just to sell cell phones. And many of those people who were buying from Mizoram would give the address of the Flipkart office in Aizawl as their pickup place, where they would put the money and get their phone. Well, if you buy one in Aizawl, you get the SIM card also. This is many years ago. I think the Modi administration has since tightened all this. Then they could smuggle the phone into anywhere, Myanmar or wherever, and from there it will go on to God knows where. So anyone who's picking up the phone would see, oh, it's an Indian phone number, right? You can play all these games. Christian missionaries and Western NGOs have been given carte blanche, especially by Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, to do whatever they want in the Northeast. It's only during the BJP regime that at least an attempt is made to try and slow this down. If it is back to Congress, well, you all know what the religion of Mr. Rahul Gandhi is, right? Don't get fooled by saying that he is a Kaul Brahmin. He is nothing of that sort. If he is asked to put his hand out to take Tirth, he'll stick out his left hand. That's how much he knows about Hinduism. Anyway, this is just a BSer. The thing is, we are all so naive that in the moment of emotion, we go and say, oh, this guy said this thing against my community. I'm not very happy with him. Therefore, I shall vote for the opposite side. I mean, how stupid is that? For 5 years, you have to bear the consequences of what you just did. The Christian missionaries have decimated the indigenous tribal faiths, pumped in enormous money for religious conversion only for some time. Then they want to still keep them poor. If they start giving them on a regular basis, then their lives will improve. Then they'll start reading, understanding the world, and they would not listen. So there is also always a way to keep them poor. For example, any convert is required to pay 10% of what he or she earns. It's called Dashama Bhagam. For that, they need, again, Sanskrit word. Dashama is 1/10. So these are all the different ways in which they are doing this thing. And the master plan would be like to completely annex the northeast of India and also take portions, carve out portions from Bangladesh and Myanmar to make it a big country. Once that happens, guess what? The next thing is they'll start eating from there into Assam and so on and so forth. Already Assam has been Islamized to a considerable extent. Only now they are fighting back. NRC is in place, which many don't like. But be that as it may, it has to execute and do its job. All these things are used to create vociferous tendencies. And one thing that I'm very disappointed is the Christian brothers and sisters of India. How can you listen to your padre and vote? Don't you know how to read and write? Many of you are running educational institutions. Can't you think for yourself? Why do you want to go and listen to a padre? What does he know? How many of you are Roman Catholics? How many of your padres are celibate? Ask yourself this question. Guys, these are all nonsense. Anyway, so listening to somebody like that to do a very important function, to vote, is the worst things you can do in life. This is all I'm saying. How will Doval and Modi government defeat this grand plan? Well, that's what remains to be seen. Maybe that is why the Modi government wants to continue with the stuff. They may have a grand plan. Maybe Doval will accomplish one or two big items and then he might step down because he is getting on years. Same way, P.K. Mishra, his name is Pramod Kumar Mishra. Many joke and say he is Pawar Kumar Mishra. For obvious reasons, you can go back and see where all Mr. P.K. Mishra has worked before he became the personal secretary of Modi. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.